This is the 0430 GMT edition of the KhoodeelaarTV television channel part 1, broadcasting on the internet under the banner of BabyAngelGeronimo. This is the 4:30 GMT edition on Wednesday the 5th of October 2022. We start by two items, by referring to two items. One is the news that on Monday, the Pakistan Islamabad High Court, the Pakistan High Court, whichever was the court concerned, dropped the contempt of court case against Imran Khan, who submitted an apology to the additional Sessions Judge Zeba Chowdhury. And based on the submission and other documentation and statements by the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party chairman, the court dismissed the case that it had started against the former Prime Minister Imran Khan. And according to the Dawn newspaper, the Islamabad High Court dismissed the show cause notice and wrapped up contempt case against Imran Khan after accepting written apology from Imran Khan. And back in the United Kingdom, in the English Midlands, in Birmingham, the Conservative Party is having its last full day of the annual jamboree today, Wednesday, the 5th of October 2022. All evidence indications show that Liar Liez Truss has no kind of trust on the part of the Conservative Party in her. So she will disappear. And the fact that she will disappear is not only based on her desperate series of lying and treachery, because when it got too hot, rhetorically, she pushed close chum, the so-called finance minister, the Nephew Tom, Kwasi Kwarteng, under the bus by saying that the tax proposal in the so-called budget was his proposal. So she's lying brazenly because she is the one who has been talking about cutting taxes for the richest. And now when the political heat got too much, Liez Truss had no hesitation before she pushed him, Kwarteng, under the bus in Birmingham. Not only is that the comprehensive evidence that the Liar Liez Truss is going out of the position as leader of the Conservative Party and the incumbent of the number 10 Downing Street for less than a month. The congenital liar Boris Jonson hasn't given up. He wants to come back, and he wants to come back to finish the job of destroying the Conservative Party. So it's not Boris Jonson who is the only one who is completely lost his brains. It's the entirety of the Conservative Party that has lost its marbles. How can they be even thinking about bringing back Boris Jonson? But that's what is happening. all of which adds to our world exclusive diagnostic assertion that Keir Starmer, who was smirking and grinning too widely in Liverpool, was doing it too early. Because whatever is happening within the Conservative Party is what is giving a default so called lead in poll ratings to the so called Labour Party. It's not due to anything that Keir Starmer has done, policy wise, or in terms of integrity, in terms of ethics and morality. When it comes to ethics and morality, Keir Starmer is the one that stepped forward about a year ago and wholeheartedly supported the depraved attacks on the character and the reputation of BabyAngelGeronimo. That the attacks are being made, that had been made for 4 years non-stop by the depraved DEFRA against the most healthy and the most sincere and the most truthful witness, BabyAngelGeronimo. Starmer said Starmer, wouldn't hesitate to violate BabyAngelGeronimo, as did Wes Streeting. Wes Streeting is the overhyped Labour Party frontbencher in the current House of Commons, who is on the record as having boasted about causing severe damage to innocent animals. And when he was given an opportunity to comment on the BabyAngelGeronimo, Wes, the criminal Streeting, said that he would let the worst damage and harm be caused to the most innocent and the most healthy BabyAngelGeronimo. So this is the theme of our campaigning broadcasts, that we broadcast to highlight and pinpoint and exclusively reveal the various depraved, corrupt, criminal, cruel behavior by members of the various executive departments. In this case, it is the depraved DEFRA. And we do that by extrapolating the same principles on the behavior of other executive decision makers in the so-called government. As to Imran Khan, he has been condemned for the first time by the imported government prime minister as the biggest liar in the world. This is the first time that any such comment has been made against Imran Khan by Shahbaz Sharif. And Imran Khan is, of course, effectively let off by the Islamabad High Court about the court case, contempt of court case against him, which means that he's going to continue to have his gatherings, rallies, and jalsas this week and in the coming weeks as he continues to campaign for the holding of a general election, free and fair general election. Talking about free and fair elections, over to Brazil, where the fascist is facing the former president, Lulu. And it is already rumored that there will be lots of fraud and manipulation of the votes in Brazil. There is a presidential election going now there. As to the situation in the rest of the country in the UK, we go back to the behavior of the London Borough Arms Council, and we find that Lutfur has been coming under attack over the removal of John Biggs's traffic calming schemes. And later today, Wednesday, the 5th of October 2022, there is a so-called council meeting in Tower Hamlets Council. And it is expected that supporters of John Biggs's traffic calming schemes are going to be out in numbers, and they will be in the public gallery as they watch the behavior of Lutfur and his cabal of aspire councillors. There is no sign in the Tower Hamlets Council of accepting responsibility for serial lies and criminality perpetrated by Lutfur during the years that he was incumbent during October 2010, October 2010, until the 23rd of April 2015. Lutfur committed crimes brazenly, and the impact of those crimes are continuing to be felt. And yet the council has not come to legally get the clearance for lying and the lies and the criminality. And most of the lies that Lutfur perpetrated were hidden, and they were not contained in the actual published records of the briefings, public briefings for so-called media and so-called journalists that take place in and around Islamabad, and the actual holding to account of the council, corrupt council and criminality, falls on the monitoring officer, a woman called Janet Faison. Now, Janet Faison is herself a proven liar and denier of the truth, and she is now holding the post that Isabel Freeman held in 2013 when the Conservative Member of Parliament for Sutton, Robert Neal, tabled a motion under the House of Commons looking at the monitoring officers in local councils and placing extraordinary specific emphasis on the behavior of Isabel Freeman and the behavior of Alibor Chowdhury in attacking the opposition in the council. So, Janet Faison has been sent demands under the notice of pre-action notice for defamation because she has lied, and she has lied by colluding with Councillor Kabir Ahmed. Kabir Ahmed, who appeared on the BBC Newsnight on the 19th of May 2022 and contradicted himself, and in effect actually said that the critics of Lutfur had been vindicated. That is on the iPlayer record of the BBC Newsnight, dated the 19th of May 2022. Now, there are various claims against the Tower Hamlets Council, various straightforward legal claims against the Tower Hamlets Council. And the contents of the claimed damages against Tower Hamlets Council would exceed hundreds of millions of pounds. And the claimants are individuals as well as corporate entities, such as the Tower Hamlets based Tower Hamlets based actual race equality in Tower Hamlets and affiliated organizations that date back 50 years. And include all the non-profit projects and activities that have been carried out in Tower Hamlets in defending the community, including defending the community against the Crossrail Hole plot. They're all represented by the Race Equality in Tower Hamlets organization, abbreviated to REITH, REITH. Now, as I have said before, Janet Faison, currently the monitoring officer, is doing what Isabella Freeman did. She's lying to hide the illegalities and criminalities of the council. She was involved in hiding the criminalities of the regime fronted by Lutfur Rahman. And she has been doing the same things now. The fact that she has been appointed monitoring officer in the same post that Isabella Freeman was allowed to hold shows that she has convinced Lutfur Rahman, and Lutfur Rahman has been convinced by her already that between the two of them they can hide the truth. One under the cover of monitoring officer, and secondly under the cover of the other post holders and other posts. Tower Hamlets Council committed crimes along with the popular Haque, as well as the other organization called Tower Hamlets Community Housing, THCH. Tower Hamlets Community Housing was shielded for years by Rabina Khan. Rabina Khan was made the so-called token housing cabinet minister by Lutfur Rahman. But as Lutfur Rahman showed his cognitive difficulty in understanding words and phrases at the hustings held in the BDC on the last week of the run up to the military and council election in 2022. When it comes to updating on Lutfur Rahman's criminality, it becomes absolutely unavoidable and necessary to list the roles played it is now possible to see that Janet Faison is playing the same role as Isabella Freeman did. And she would do anything to keep herself in that post. As for Will Tuckley, Lutheraman is playing tactical game by not sacking Will Tuckley yet. It's only matter of time before Will Tuckley himself is sacked. Because Will Tuckley was appointed by John Biggs. And Will Tuckley, while he is in the post, is pandering to the lies and the lying agenda of the Lutheraman incumbency now. Because one of our campaign's main aim or aims has been to hold the council to account transparently. And we had the only campaign that says that about our Armed Council and demands accountability and transparency. No other campaign exists, let alone exists campaigning for the same demands as we do and we have been doing. When Bob Neal presented his arguments and evidence against the behavior of Isabella Freeman, Alibor Chaudhry, and Lutfur Rahman in January 2013, during that brief debate that he had convened and organized, he said things like, and I'm looking for the things. So this is the report as published online by LGC Plus. That is the Local Government Chronicle. And it's dated by, it's a piece by Mark Smalian, Smulian, Mark Smalian, and it's dated the 18th of January 2013. And this is how the piece goes. Neil attacks officer over serious disrepute. Former minister makes allegations against Tower Hamlets monitoring officer. A former local government minister has accused a monitoring officer of bringing the new standards regime into serious disrepute. Bob Neal made a string of allegations against Tower Hamlets London Borough Council monitoring officer Isabella Freeman during a parliamentary debate on local government standards, claims which the council strongly refuted. Now, the council could be on the record as saying it strongly refuted the allegations, but that would not be the truth because the council was lying, would be lying in making that refutation as well. Mr. Neil told Parliament that Tower Hamlets had a history of vexatious complaints against members of the opposition. Opposition Conservatives and Labour parties, emanating from supporters of independent elected Mayor Lutfur Rahman. Now, that was in January 2013, which is 2 years and 2 months before Election Commissioner Richard Morey expelled Lutfur Rahman from office and banned Lutfur Rahman for 5 years from public office. And this local government chronicle plus continues. Mr. Neil told Parliament that Tower Hamlets had a history of vexatious complaints against members of the opposition, Conservative and Labour parties, emanating from supporters of the independent elected Mayor Lutfur Rahman. Neil said the monitoring officer of Tower Hamlets, Isabella Freeman, is also the assistant chief executive for legal services. And the monitoring officer is also the person who advises the mayor. There is now a situation in which the monitoring officer, that is Isabella Freeman, who advises the mayor and policies and polices the regime, regularly investigates complaints by a member of the mayor's cabinet. On the other hand, complaints against the members of the group who support the mayor have not been taken forward for investigation, which inevitably raises concern as to who monitors the monitoring officer in such cases. Well, monitoring officers, because it was talking about other councils generally as well. Mr. Neil said councillors passed a motion calling for disciplinary action against Miss Freeman. And we might have thought that the monitoring officer would have withdrawn from the meeting at that point. Instead, she insisted on remaining and noted what was said by many members, etc. Now, that article appeared in the local government chronicle press on the 16th of January 2013. But that article was not the only one. And that article has not been, if you like, the evidence of that and the facts of that have not been replaced, let alone the lies refuted, because the lies remain on the record. And Lutfur Rahman has now appointed Janet Faison as the monitoring officer, or has endorsed Janet Faison as the monitoring officer. And Janet Faison is one of the council employees who was doing criminal behavior, criminal blacklisting of complainants against Lutfur Rahman and his regime and against the others in the council's corrupt regime at that time, that is during the period up to 23rd of April 2015. As I filmed Lutfur Rahman in Brick Lane on Tuesday, the 15th of February 2011, my film showed walking in Brick Lane to Lutfur Rahman's left, Aman Dalby. Aman Dalby has left the council And the fact that he left the council didn't mean that he wasn't paid lots and lots of money as severance payment. But as soon as Aman Dalby saw me filming them, he hid his face and he took a deviating left turn away from the focus, and while Luthraman continued to walk towards the camera. Luthraman walked along with the proven liar Aziz Chowdhury. Aziz Chowdhury belongs to the name organization Spitalfield Small Business Association. Now, between Tower Hamlets Council and the SSBA, that is Spitalfield Small Business Association, the claims against Tower Hamlets Council and the SSBA show that hundreds of millions the recording shows that the actual deliberations by Robert Neal in January 2013 also referred to other councils and other councils monitoring officers' behavior. But no other council had such a criminally engaged and criminally active, corrupt monitoring officer such as Isabella Freeman. Nor had there been another mayor who was in complete and brazen collusion with such a corrupt monitoring officer. And Luthraman was advised by monitoring officer Isabella Freeman that he should not speak to the council. He should attend the council and keep his mouth shut. Now, that is because if he spoke, his cognitive difficulties would come out and he would make all kinds of mistakes. Now, this is Luthraman, who has been celebrated by a number of so-called left-wing racist, ignorant idiots. None of them know about Tower Hamlets. None of them know Tower Hamlets population. And none of them could know Tower Hamlets as a community or as an electorate. Because if they knew how bad Tower Hamlets Council was, they would never publish any of the lying pieces after the 5th of May 2022 that they have published, giving Luthraman the benefit of the doubt, which Luthraman never deserves, because Luthraman is continuing to commit the criminal acts since he returned on the 5th of May 2022. Luthraman is continuing to pretend that nothing wrong was done during his years incumbent in the post of mayor from October 2010 until 23rd of April 2015. So our campaign is finalizing the updating of the consolidated demands against Tower Hamlets Council and against Luthraman, that they have committed crimes and they are still committing crimes. And that regardless of Luthraman being so-called re-elected, there is no exemption. There is no exemption from criminal liability for criminal activities. In addition to Luthraman doing the crime personally, he has allowed the convicted fraudster Mahi Ferdaus Jalil, so-called founder of the so-called channel slaves, channel S, which he calls channel slaves. Because all the evidence shows that when the plotters who plotted to impose and foist Lutfur Rahman as the mayor in Tower Hamlets, elected mayor in Tower Hamlets, as previewed and revealed in advance by Andrew Gilligan in his Dispatches program, broadcast on Channel 4 on the 1st of March 2010, that plot to foist Lutfur Rahman on Tower Hamlets councils, yet to be established mayor post, elected mayor post, was a plot to take over control of the Tower Hamlets councils, financial resources, as well as political resources, as well as other resources, which they did take control of. So while they did take control of all of that, Lutfur Rahman was being sent every day. Lutfur Rahman was being sent communications to put an end to the corruption and criminalities that were identified to him. And Lutfur Rahman continued to collude and collaborate and was complicit with the criminals. Lutfur Rahman only listened to the cabal that actually gave him the opportunity to be foisted as the mayor of Tower Hamlets. That particular cabal still remains active and is operating from the East London Muslim Centre or London Muslim Centre or East London Muslim Centre, based in the complex containing the East London Mosque in the Whitechapel Road. And the fact that the Labour Party on 5th of May 2022, the Labour Party, which was in control as the majority party up to that date, was systematically kind of rendered useless. And the result was that it lost to Lutfur Rahman's so-called Aspire Party on the 5th of May 2022. But according to Kabir Ahmad, the so-called councillor supporter of Lutfur Rahman, the events, the results of the 5th of May 2022 elections, because there was the election to the post of mayor and the elections to the vacancies for councillors. Kabir Ahmad said to David Grossman's program or report on the dated the 19th of May 2022 that the results of the election show that critics, people who called Lutfur Rahman a fraudster and a crook and a liar, had become vindicated. Now, that is, to any ordinary student of ordinary language, that means that Kabir Ahmad, the councillor supporter, appearing on the Newsnight program as a supporter of Lutfur Rahman, was accepting that the people who called Lutfur Rahman a crook, fraudster, and illegally in the post were vindicated. That is to say, they have got it right. Now, that is what Lutfur Rahman is doing. What he did from 2010 up to 23rd of April 2015, he has resumed doing that. He is in denial and he is in secret complicity with a number of criminals and liars. So, what we have to do is to continue updating on the actual details of the evidence of the wrongdoing and the evidence that actually caused severe losses and damages up to the tune of hundreds of millions of pounds. So, we shall put this particular edition, we shall stop this one after 41 minutes at 0509 hours GMT on the 5th of October 2022, and we shall resume the next editions later during the day.